Tonight, we have two presentations and celebrations of success. We will begin with Mr. Mayhew.
I'd like to ask Tammy Lamprecht to join me at the podium, please. My dear board colleagues, I am honored to be here tonight to introduce, for our recognition, Tammy Lamprecht, who has been awarded the 2023 Outstanding World Language Teacher Award. I would note from her nomination letter, it says that Lamprecht Sensei, as her students call her, is the only Japanese teacher in the school district of over 40,000 students. This could be intimidating and isolating for any educator. However, Lamprecht Sensei consistently finds ways to collaborate and keep the Japanese program alive and thriving at the Lincoln Public Schools. So it is my distinct honor to read the following resolution in the form of a motion. Whereas Tammy Lamprecht, Southwest High School Japanese language teacher, has been given the 2023 Outstanding World Language Teacher Award, and whereas Tammy Lamprecht displays a passion for teaching Japanese in the only program of its kind within LPS and is a champion for world languages, and whereas Tammy Lamprecht works collaboratively with colleagues and shares her expertise to develop and deliver a robust curriculum and activities, and whereas Tammy Lamprecht is valued, respected, and admired among her colleagues, not only at her school, but also across the school district and the state of Nebraska, now therefore be it resolved that the Lincoln Board of Education does hereby congratulate Tammy Lamprecht for being given the 2023 Outstanding World Language Teacher Award by the Nebraska International Languages Association. Signed by our board president, Lanny Boswell, and our superintendent, Dr. Paul Gosman. Tammy, congratulations.
Thank you for your kind words and your recognition in receiving this prestigious award. I was given quite a surprise when French teacher Sasha Van Zant, whose words you just heard, read my nomination, and I was given this honor because there are so many other teachers I work with every day who are just as deserving. Tonight, I want to take a few minutes to express my gratitude to the LPS district and many individuals who helped me to get to where I am today. Last year, for the first time, I heard my appraising administrator call me a veteran teacher, which honestly made me feel a little old. However, it did lead me to reflect on the many blessings God has given me in what I get to do every day, teaching Japanese and helping high schoolers learn to express themselves in Japanese. And there is no doubt that none of us gets here on our own. Speaking of which, I'd like to thank my loving family. With me today is my husband, Chad Lamprecht, and children Sarah, Joel, and Whitney, and Brianna and the two grandchildren couldn't be here with us. I couldn't do this without your encouragement and your support. Teaching is the kind of job that is difficult to leave at the door when I walk out of the Southwest High School building each day. And you all experience the tired and sometimes burdened me that comes home every day. Thank you for your grace and understanding of the challenges, triumphs, good and bad moods, and sometimes schoolwork that I bring home. I thank God every day for the gift that you are to me. I love you all. Many people ask me how I got into learning Japanese in the first place. I'm sure it comes as no surprise that it was another teacher who inspired me. There was a lot to say about that story that I don't have time to share this evening, but I would like to express gratitude for my first Japanese teacher / facilitator, Gwyneth Neff. She was the courageous teacher, English and French teacher by trade, mind you, who was willing to be the facilitator for the distance learning Japanese classes offered at my school, Medicine Valley High School. I would not have been able to start learning Japanese back in high school if it wasn't for her husband, Dr. Neff, our superintendent, who made it possible for our school to have advanced offerings in math and world language. It was through this distance learning class broadcast out of the Lincoln NET studio back in the 1990s that I got my start. Mrs. Neff even took us on a field trip, traveling the 4 hours it took to get from Curtis to Lincoln to be on satellite TV with our teacher Tim Cook for a day. Mrs. Neff and I have stayed in touch through the years, and she even traveled with her family to visit me when I was living and working in Japan after college. I also want to thank my parents for raising me in a home where education and learning was emphasized, and my mom especially for taking us on many trips to the library and reading to us 5 kids tirelessly. I think it was this, along with modeling God's love for all people, that initially broadened my perspective of the world and my interest in people of different cultures, whether it be neighbors down the street or people across the ocean. My parents also centered most of our family vacations around Nebraska historical sites such as Fort Robinson, Ash Hollow, various museums, and I can't tell you how many times I got to see Pioneer Village. Not to mention all the cultural events like Arts in the Park in North Platte, plays and musicals in McCook, and Dad made sure we went to the Ag College down the street to hear every guest lecturer who visited our town. Mom and Dad definitely cultivated a curiosity for learning and others about and their way of life. Dad never could quite figure out why I chose Japanese when I could have studied Czech, our heritage language, here in Lincoln. My short answer was always that I couldn't roll my R's, so I chose Japanese. Fast forward to more recent years, I want to thank LPS and the late world language consultant Sue Smith for seeking me out and connecting me to the chance to help open Lincoln Southwest and begin growing the Japanese program there. I also want to thank Jeremy Smith for teaching and working to establish a sister school connection with Senshu Matsudo High School in Japan during the years I stayed home with my kids. This made my transition back to teaching full-time again in 2016 very exciting as our Japanese sister school relationship has become stronger and stronger. And it is a joy to see LPS students forge friendships with peers on the other side of the world. Also, I never will forget the original brave souls who started studying Japanese with me at Lincoln Southwest High School when we opened our doors in the fall of 2002. Students CJ Lefferts, Becky Letter, Clara Finbu, Dustin Grau, Amanda Schmidt, Jamie and Rena, whose last names I just couldn't remember, Alex Oberst, Sharon Little, Matt Endries, and Katie Marvin. These students and their parents were adamant that we needed a full-year program for Japanese language at LPS, and I count it an honor to have been able to learn with them and many others in classroom A213 since 2002. Thank you to Kate Damgard and Janine Tyler, I think Janine's here too, who continue to work the work of supporting all of us LPS world language teachers at the district level. Last but not least, I want to give a shout out to the world language teachers at LSW, led by our department head, Erin Finley. I'm grateful for the knowledge and the expertise in the classroom scenarios we share back and forth with each other every day to help us all become better teachers. There are many more individuals I would like to thank, but we don't have time to be here all night. I will close by sharing something that we do in our Japanese 4 class at the end of each school year. With me, I have this painting, and every student places their fingerprint on this painting, which hangs in the corner of my classroom. This is painted, by the way, by local artist Ann Williams. It is my way of reminding myself and the students in my classroom of the blessing that it is to walk with each other, to hear and know each other's stories. And I've had the opportunity to teach and learn alongside each of them, particularly those who persevered through Japanese 4, because you have to finish Japanese 4 to put your fingerprint on this painting. But next to the painting is a quote by author Judy Blume. It says, "Our fingerprints don't fade from the lives we touch." This is true of not just my students, but many of the colleagues I've had the privilege of working with through the years here at LPS. Thank you again, Lincoln Public Schools, for allowing me to do the job that I love so much every day. Or as one would say in Japanese, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you.
Is there a second? Mrs. Danik.
Thank you, President Boswell. I would second that motion.
Any discussion?
I actually think she said it
Ms.
all.
Mungard.
I just want to thank you for taking the time to tell us about your experience as a teacher. It's such a pleasure that first of all, it's a pleasure to be able to recognize our teachers, but it's also, thank you for taking the time and really to think about what you wanted us to know about your experience and your students' experience, and that's just really a really special way to help us start the meeting. So thank you very much for your work, too.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Laura, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Mayhew,
Yes.
Ms. Mungard,
Yes.
Dr. Rauner,
Yes.
Mr. Shrivastava,
Yes.
Ms. Byer,
Yes.
Mrs. Gannon,
Yes.
Mr. Boswell.
Yes.